I'll be sharing with you all how I learned to love my body and how I was able to just like really let go of this negative body image that we are so conditioned to have. And so for those of you that didn't watch my other video is really based on how reckless I was with my body, with my eating disorder that I had, and with drugs and alcohol. But when it comes to learning how to love my body, I had an eating disorder for over 13 years, and that eating disorder was bulimia. I would definitely abuse my body by binging it and then throwing up. And so when I finally was able to let go of that, it was definitely like a huge weight off my shoulders. Oh my God, I remember it was it felt amazing, because what it was literally like a mental disorder that I had. It was constant thoughts about food, constant, and I would get triggered, and I was really miserable. When that was finally over, which was during, I guess, the first phase of my healing, the first and second phases of my healing, because first it was really the alcohol, which was very destructive to me, and then facing my food addiction. It was something that I hid from everybody. And so when I decided to face that, I decided to face my feelings and let go of all the things that I was holding in, I became a lot better. And I realized that as I started to develop spiritually, and not only spiritually really, because at that time I wasn't really thinking about so much about spirituality. I was just thinking about like just feeling healthier and happier. So when I finally started to go towards that type of direction, I was able to really, it's like a switch went off, and that off switch just gave me this freedom of the mind that I didn't have before. But one thing did remain, and that was my negative self-image, negative body image. And at first it wasn't that much of a big deal, because I was really working towards just being better and loving myself, and I was working towards a lot of things that I wanted to achieve. But you see, the years would go by, and I would get better and better, and then I became awakened into meditation and my purpose and hypnotherapy and all this stuff, and I still felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't good enough in my body. And especially the fact that I had such a hard time accepting my natural weight. I always wanted to be thinner than what I was. And when I finally came to terms that, letting go of my eating disorder actually meant that I had to gain a little weight, I gained a few pounds. At first, it wasn't that much of a big deal, but it was that feeling of just not good enough. I felt like my arms were never good enough. My tummy was never going to be flat enough. I had cellulite, whether it was in my tummy or whether it was in my legs. It was just like this feeling of dissatisfaction towards the body. And so here I was, this person who wants to be enlightened, who is enlightened. I became very sensitive to energies and angels and insight and intuition and all these beautiful things. But there was that one thing that remained constant, and it was the feeling of not feeling good enough with my body. And this year, I took it upon myself to love my body. I said to myself, this year was my New Year's resolution, and I said to myself, I am going to learn, I am going to get over this, and I'm going to learn to love my body. Because I've seen people that they are nowhere near the standard of beauty that they're supposed to be because of the media, because of all the beautiful models on Instagram, and they love their bodies. We all know somebody who is a little overweight according to the standards of health, and they are okay with their bodies. And even the people that are not overweight, that's just an example. Even the people that are like regular, that are in perfect health, and they don't look like any sort of Victoria's Secret model or any sort of model from Instagram, and they are super happy with their bodies. How do we know that? By observing them and by observing their actions and seeing their energy being balanced when it comes to that area. And so I see that. I see that in some people. And I said to myself, I want to be that. I want to feel like that. And so I never really believed in New Year's resolutions, because we tend to actually over-exaggerate, and we tend to, I don't know, we have all this energy in the beginning and then But I said to myself, I'm gonna put some things in practice, and I really want to learn how to love my body, and I'm gonna put the things that I've learned, I'm gonna shift them around. You know, since I'm so connected, since, you know, I receive guidance and ideas and all this stuff, and I understand so much how energy works, I'm gonna put myself into a regime where a regimen. I'm gonna put myself into a regimen where I am going to learn to love my body. And so that was my New Year's resolution. And I'm very happy to say that I am, right now is July 2016, and I am very happy with the exercises that I have put for myself to love my body, actually. So I can honestly say that I'm really learning how to accept my body for every little flaw, for every little bit of so-called imperfection that it has. One thing that was always bugging me was that if you want to change your body, you first have to love your body for how it is. And that used to like drive me crazy, because I used to be like, why, how is that even productive? Because if we want to change our bodies, that means that we don't like the way it looks. And so we have to change our bodies. But that is completely not true. I can honestly say that now I understand, and it is true. You really have to look at yourself, and you have to accept yourself for who you are. The way I started accepting myself and my body for what it was is I'm very big into mantras. And anyone who's my friend, anyone who's been my client, they know that I'm very big into mantras, because I know they work. And so I started with a couple of mantras. I actually started a couple of mantras, and I remember just feeling so frustrated, because I would like work out, and then I would work out for all this time, and then I would stop working out because I'm feeling low, because I'm frustrated, because of whatever excuse. So I would just tell myself like mantras, like I would wake up in the morning and I would say it. And I would meditate on it for a little bit. You don't have to meditate if you don't want to, but something that can calm you down. A phrase that is important to you, that will kind of wake you up a little bit. And so my phrase would be like, Iris, you know, you can change your body whenever you want. Just look at your body, you look so good, and you'll get through this, and just stay hopeful and stay positive, and things will change. And so I would say, my mantra would be something like that. It would be something short and sweet and into the point. And then another thing that I would do is that I would wake up, and I always look at myself in the mirror when I wake up. And I would look at myself in the mirror, and the first thing that I would do is I would criticize myself. I became conscious of that. So I would criticize my belly looking a little bigger today. I would criticize my hair's not looking right. I would just criticize myself. And so I decided to not do that anymore. And I decided to look at myself in the mirror, and I promise you this works. I promise you. Looking at yourself in the mirror, and just don't criticize yourself. Tell yourself, you don't have to tell yourself that you love yourself. You know, if you don't really feel it, don't say such strong words. But just look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? Stop tripping. Stop tripping, Iris. You look just fine. There are so many people that are bigger than you, that are less healthier than you. You look just fine. The curves that you have are women curves. The weight that you have is perfectly okay. So stop tripping. You look beautiful today. And that is something that really helped. I would wake up, I still still wake up in the morning and I tell myself, Iris, you know what? You look fine just the way you are. So it's almost like I became my own partner. I became my own lover. Because your lover is never gonna tell you, babe, you look fat, right? So I became that person to myself. I look at myself in the mirror, and instead of being like, ugh, I'm like, all right, I'm like, no, Iris, you look just fine. You look good. And, you know, just get up on your day. If you ate too much yesterday, then eat something nice and healthy today so that you can feel good. And it's like the reflection of that energy comes back to me. And I really heard it. And I just started doing that every day. And if you have a hard time remembering to do these things, write them down and put them right next to your mirror. And so the more I kept doing that, the more uplifted I became with my mantra, with a little exercise, to the point that I started telling myself, you are so beautiful just the way you are. You're fine just the way you are. I love myself. I love you. You see, that's another thing. For me, it was about talking to somebody else, but that somebody else was me. So I just said, I love you. I love you. You're beautiful just the way you are. And I promise you that made so much, like that was just the biggest factor. Just giving myself that positive reinforcement of, don't stop tripping. It's not a big deal. You know, just go back to your workout. You don't feel like working out today? That's fine. You're fine. And then another thing that would happen to me is that because I had this anxiety issue with my eating disorder, it's a mental disorder. I would like eat something and then I would feel so guilty, or I would feel so like I would get a little triggered and I'll be like, you know, it's like I wasn't present anymore because I was thinking about all the crap that I ate. But after doing this, what happens is that instead of me criticizing about all the crap that I ate and feeling so crappy about what I just did, it's like this other voice started to come in. And the other voice would start to talk to me as if I would talk to myself in the mirror. That other voice started saying, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're going to digest all this and you're going to be fine. You're not gonna get fat. This is all in your head. Because another thing is that and this is a huge secret, I guess, but it's not really a secret. It's just this is how energy works. If you think that what you're going to eat is going to make you fat, it's going to make you fat. Because what you're telling your body is that you're signaling to your cells to hold the fat of the food. So you are literally changing your body and changing the structure of the energy that you're putting into your food by thinking that way. So people that are thin, haven't you met some people that are thin and they eat and it's like, where do they go? Oh, I have a fast metabolism. Sure, that's fine, but they also don't think that they're gonna get fat. And so they don't absorb all that stuff. Their bodies are accustomed to letting it go. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle of just learning how to be healthier and learning how to teach yourself to be healthier. Learning how to talk to yourself with kindness. Learning how to tell yourself, hey, listen, you're tripping out, stop it. This is not right for you, okay? Don't stop tripping, still be yourself, eat what you wanna eat, and then do exercise, and then combine it with something healthier later. Whatever it is, I'm not here trying to say that it's okay to be eating French fries and burgers all the time. This is not what I'm saying when I say eat whatever you wanna eat. But don't eat it with guilt. Don't self-loathe later, okay? This whole idea of talking to yourself with kindness through the mirror, holy crap, it has changed my life. And I can honestly say that I am so happy for the first time ever about the way I look now. Because I'm not freaking out, I'm not hating myself, especially the whole hating myself thing, because I gained a pound, because I gained 2 pounds, 3 pounds. It's like, dude, I talk to myself now and I'm like, Iris, you can lose that in no time. Or you can just accept it and you're still beautiful, or whatever it is. Like, now I have this voice that reinforces me into thinking positively. But that is because I put the work in it. You know, it didn't start off with, oh, I love you. It started off with just being real to myself and being like, Iris, you look perfect the way you are right now. So I really hope that this can really, really help you guys. And you're always more than welcome to ask any questions. If you are interested in understanding and learning, you know where to find me. And I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Bye.